Until Death by Kathryn Reynolds. It started with a rose on my bed. A strange but harmless thing. I thought it a prank or a mistake. After all, I had just moved into this vintage apartment. Maybe my mom had called to have it left, a peace offering to get us talking again. I asked my landlord to change the locks, just to be sure. A few days passed with no further roses, and I was content. Next, there were roses in my bathtub. Not just a few, but an entire bed of roses, their sharp thorns piercing the bottom of my foot when I stumbled in for my morning shower. This was when I began to panic. Those roses hadn't been there the night before. Had someone broken in? Was it a prank from a neighbor? Or something more sinister? There were no signs of forced entry, no doors or windows left unlocked. The cops laughed when I called to report it, even when the roses continued to appear in other parts of my small apartment. Going out became looking over my shoulder all of the time. While at home, I jumped at every noise. Who was leaving these roses, and why? Never a note, never a sign of entry, never so much as a scuff in the building dust. I tried to find a way out of my lease, but the cost was so high, and it would take me another 2 months to save up. I couldn't afford 2 rents, and if I stayed in the same city, would the roses follow me? When I came home on the 3rd week in my new apartment to find the old wood floors covered in rose petals, I fell to my knees and broke down crying. What sick trick was this? Who was torturing me with what used to be my favorite flower? I didn't hear the door close behind me, nor notice the chill that filled the room. I didn't see the light bulbs slowly winking out, one by one, nor the way the windows frosted over. It wasn't until the bony hand came to rest upon my shoulder that I looked up in panic. She stood over me, so lovely and horrific. Lace clung to her skeletal arms, the beaded bodice of her gown filled with her ghostly figure. The long train trailed beyond the closed door, as a sunken but lovely face stared out from behind a shimmering white veil. And rose petals dropped from her wilting ruby-red bouquet, adding to the carpet already covering the ground. "What? Who are you?" I asked, staring in horror and wonder. "Did you leave the roses? Why?" "I've been alone so long," she answered, her voice echoing between a whisper and a morning cry. "But you came back. I knew you would." The words failed me as I began to crab walk away from her. "I don't know you. You're dead." "You came back, my Marcus," she cooed, floating after me. "You're home from the war." "What? No!" I gasped, managing to clamber back to my feet. I'm Mary. I'm a woman." She continued towards me, unconcerned, a serene smile upon her face. "Finally, we can be wed, and then we can rest together." Staggering into the bedroom, slipping upon rose petals, I slammed the door to her approach. This had to be some sort of nightmare, a stress-induced delusion. Maybe I had been drugged? The back of my knees hit upon the bed's edge and knocked me into a sitting position. The door handle rattled. I scrambled for the phone in my back pocket. Who could I call? Becky? The cops? My landlord? My mom? The door creaked open, the hinges squealing in agony. My fingers shook as I tried to unlock my phone with my fingerprint. The code entry popped up, and it took me 3 tries to enter my PIN. The ghost bride smiled lovingly as she began to glide forward once again. "Don't run, my love." I punched in 911. "We are meant to be," she said, her voice overlapping itself in a sweet coo and a mournful wail. "I'm not who you think," I cried out in response, glancing back down at my phone. No service. My heart hammered in my ears until the swish of her gown was drowned out. My breath came in panicked bursts. I stared at the cracked screen of my phone in abject horror. Her hands closed gently around my neck. I screamed, but no sound came out. I tried to push at her, but my hands slid through her like air. Her hands tightened around my throat as my feet began to thrash upon the ground. "It's all right," the ghost whispered in my ear. "I like women too. Just like you, Marcus. Just like you, Mary." I flailed. I kicked and swung. The hands tightened, leaving no mark, cutting off my breath. My mouth hung open, no sound coming forth. Finally, I felt my body like some distant object. The world began to fade. As the darkness closed in, there was just one problem. As I died, she faded away, my ghostly bride. I was there when the cops found my body, alone and lonely. I was there when you moved in a month later, with your boxes of books and your scant furniture. So I hope you don't mind. I left a rose on your bed. This video was made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you, patrons.